just for those who maybe are unclear what I mean when I refer to headquarters, is this position where Buffy pushes one of my knees down towards the floor with the intention of splitting my legs with one of hers, okay? So she has the inside foot position with her right foot in this case, and I have a butterfly hook with my right leg, and this is just commonly referred to a headquarters position. She has many offensive guard passes from here, and I'm essentially in a disadvantageous position. So we're just going to operate from this position specifically today with the intention of entering the legs, okay? The first technique specifically is going to be predicated around my ability to intercept the near side arm, okay? This one has to be done quickly and opportunistically, otherwise it's pretty much not going to work, okay? So as Buffy slowly enters the position, freeze. Already I've identified that her lead leg is the right leg. It's at this moment that I have to start to pull the trigger on this one. The lead leg is the right leg, meaning that her lead arm is of course the right arm. So from here, before I lose access to the lead arm, I'm going to look to intercept it. I do so with a classic 2-on-1 drag, and I just make sure that my butterfly hook on the inside is ready to activate. Where from here, my intention is to create a significant off balance. I'll be honest, if your opponent comes in very aggressively, it's not uncommon just to sweep your partner all the way over, but I'm not counting on this against the best guys in the world, okay? What I'm counting on against very good people is when I intercept this grip with the intention of off balancing, I'm going to elicit a posting mechanism from Buffy in the form of her inside leg. This is extremely common, okay? It's from here now that even though I've taken her right arm out of commission, she can always compensate by posting this right leg out as a posting mechanism, just as you see here. Where from here now, what we're going to look at doing is switching from our pulling grip in the form of a 2-on-1 drag to a pushing grip in the form of this cross lat frame. My intention here is to get from my left hip to my right hip while simultaneously taking Buffy's head away from mine. And as I do this, I'm just going to look to form a single leg X connection just like so. Okay? So if we see this a few more times from the outset, very slowly. Once again, this one is specifically predicated around my idea to intercept the grips and be opportunistic. So as she comes in, I forced a posted mechanism at the lower body like so. Where from here now, I switch from a pulling 2-on-1 drag to a pushing cross lat frame. The intention here is to get from my left hip to my right hip, getting my partner's head away from mine, and hopefully I'm able to easily maneuver through and get to this classic single leg X position. So we see it one final time, opportunistically playing and get into this position like so. Okay lads, let's grab a partner and a space and give this a bash. Few minutes lads.
Hey! I never said my face can be on the camera, by the way.
It's going to be on YouTube and everything.
No, bro.
There's a mechanical issue with your sweep, okay? Remember I said this is a opportunistic thing. It's as he's coming in, you have to take him further than you planned on going by imposing an off balance over your left shoulder. So it's as he comes in.
So it's like,
Oh, there you go. But you have to, you're bringing your leg too high relative to his knee. You want him to flip this leg out in this case. Exactly. And it's from here now that he would expose himself to that single leg X, okay? Between a sweep out in this direction and a leg entry out in this direction. So if we quickly see this again, it's opportunistic, as we've mentioned. We play a dilemma-based game. If Buffy refuses to offer me limb extension at the lower body, so obviously don't take the leather out, we simply sweep like so, being the first portion of the dilemma. But let's be honest, the best people are not going to succumb to this. They're always going to flick a leg out like so as to compensate for the lack of posting ability at the upper body. And from here now, we play with the second portion of a dilemma by going from pulling to pushing, creating a scenario where it's easy to manoeuvre through and attack our partner's leg. For the second technique, we're not going to play a dilemma between a sweep and a leg entry, but rather a technical stand-up and a leg entry. She cannot have it both ways. If she stops me from standing up, I'm going to get to the legs. And if she stops me from getting to the legs, I'm going to stand up. Okay? So this time, we come in, and she's able to post hands on the floor like so. So you see my ability to opportunistically intercept the appropriate arm is gone from here. I'm not chasing this from here. So what I'm going to look to do is I take a cross shoulder frame, and as I start the action of forward shifting, I'm going to focus on bringing my right knee from Buffy's left hip over to Buffy's right hip. And it's from here that I start the action of building up to an elbow, okay? Now she has a choice from here. If she stays exactly where she is, it's obviously going to be a difficult thing to get underneath the hips and get to the legs, but a very easy thing to front pummel the left leg inside and get back to some variation of open guard. Let's be honest, most people are not going to accept this. They've worked hard to get on top, they're probably going to work hard to stay here. So in the time that it takes me to exhibit a front pummel to the inside, she's probably already started the action of drawing me back down to the floor. And it's this forward momentum that's going to offer me the ability to take her further than she planned on going and elevating everything overhead, okay? So, from the outset, it might look something like this, where she gets the hands to the mat and gets to a stable headquarters. Where from here, I take a cross shoulder frame, and as I exhibit a forward shift, I focus on bringing my knee to the cross hip and building up to an elbow like so. Naturally, if she allows it, I'm going to pummel the left leg to the inside. But what's going to happen is she fights tooth and nail to draw me back to the mat. In this moment that she draws me back to the mat, I allow my right arm in this case to shoot through and collect this classic over back grip. Where from here now, I have a strong ability to take Buffy, not over my left shoulder, but this time over the right shoulder. So we threaten somewhat of a Yoko Sumigeshi here, just with the intention of getting her to post out on the limbs like so. When we get into this inverted position, there's two long legs directly in front. So from here now, we just take two hands over two knees, and it's an easy thing now to impose a pendulum type action to draw our partner's hips to the mat and subsequently lock up this cross ashe position. So it's a little bit more intricate if we see it again from a slightly different angle. Maybe we're wanting to exhibit the first technique, but she comes in and she gets to a stable position like so, so I've lost the opportunity to get to the arm drag. So from here now, I recover by taking a cross shoulder frame, and as I look to exert a forward shift, I do so with the intention of bringing my knee across the body and getting to my elbow like so. Where from here now, the dilemma exists in the form of, if she does not press forward, I recover the position of the lower leg, and if she does advance forward, we come through to a position like so. Once again, with her legs residing directly overhead, it's an easy thing to take two hands to two knees, and now from here as we draw her hips down and towards the floor, it's an easy thing to lock everything up and get to this cross ashe position. If we see it one final time, she gets to an inherently stable position, hands on the mat. So from here, we recover through the use of a cross shoulder frame, bringing the knee across the body, and finally working through to a forward shift with the intention of getting up to my elbow like so. If she does not press forward, it's an easy thing to recover the position of the lower leg. If she does advance forward, we are going to impose somewhat of a Yoko Sumigeshi type movement, but really with the intention of sending everything through and locking up this cross ashe. Okay lads, obviously a little bit more difficult than the first one. Give it a try. If anyone's struggling with this one, just refer back to the first technique, okay? Let's give this a bash.
Take a double grip, yeah, there we go.
You should. See when you do this, mate, come back one step. Let's get to the over back grip and pause, right? See when you do this, you take everything toward this. Look, this way. So,
I can feel you moving this way.
yes. So you want to go into a full inversion here. This is a pretty good attempt, right? So,
I want to invert the knees down.
yeah. So equipped with that knowledge, every rep from here should look pretty decent.
Start spelling back up if you do not.
Go slow.
Come in here.
I come back in.
Come back in.
He holds you down. Beautiful. 2 arms, 2 legs. This is really nice, mate.
I think mine's testing.
Good. We forward shift in conjunction here. Now, as Johnny tries to hold you down, there you go. There's your entry. And with the specs coming off, 10 out of 10. So you see what third and final technique, and this one is a little bit easier than the one that we just looked at, but largely it follows a similar concept. So once again, Buffy comes in and she imposes this headquarters position, and she's able to create a stable scenario here by getting her hands to the floor. Now let's assume that I'm attempting the previous technique. A prerequisite to the previous technique is my ability to utilise a strong cross-shoulder frame with the intention of pushing her weight backwards, thus allowing me to get to an elbow. If she knows this, she brings the head and chest well beyond mine, so it's difficult to get her weight going back towards the heels. In a case like so, can we rotate just slightly? In a case like so, I don't utilise a cross-shoulder frame. I'm going to come underneath, and I'm going to utilise a cross lat frame where I come underneath the armpit at the lat muscle. Remember, the whole reason we're doing this is because her head and chest far exceeds mine. So this is going to make it easy to off balance her out in this direction over my right shoulder. So once again, it's an easy thing now to elevate and off balance over my right shoulder and get to a position like so. Now, your whole thing here is to get to the inside position with your left foot. Clearly that's going to be a relatively easy task because of the space that I've made. So if we look at my left leg, I'm going to employ a front pummel action where I lead with the heel and I bring my leg to the inside like so. Well, from here it's an easy thing to recover to butterfly guard or something like this. I want us to focus on coming straight through to this false X position that you see here. So the right leg does not move, but the left leg comes underneath and through, and I capture the far hip. Where from here now we once again take 2 hands to 2 knees. And from here, given the fact that our partner's hands are still connected to the floor, it should be an easy thing to draw our partner's second leg overhead, and I do this with the intention of replacing my left hand with my left knee. Where from here now we can link ankle to ankle, once again with the intention of bringing our partner's hips down and landing in this cross ashy position. So if we see this again, do it from a slightly different angle. She comes into a stable headquarters position, so those first 2 techniques are largely off the table. As a result of her head and chest far exceeding mine, it's very difficult to get pushing actions going, but easy to get pulling actions going. So from here we come, not in front of the shoulder, but rather inside the lat, just like so. Where from here now, I impose an off balance and an elevation over my right shoulder. The intention here is to take my left leg from the outside and get to the inside through the use of this front pummel. Further through to this false X, okay? Where from here now, we once again bring 2 hands to 2 knees, and I do this with the intention of shooting everything through, linking ankle over ankle, and once again sending our partner down into this classic cross ashy position. So we'll see it one final time. She gets to a stable headquarters and she brings those head and shoulders far over mine. Pushing action becomes difficult, but pulling action becomes rather easy. Where from here now, we employ a classic front pummel. We do this with the intention of getting to this false X. Where from here now, assuming we can get that left leg overhead, it's an easy thing now just to shoot through and get to that same position that we've been working. Okay lads, a little bit easier than the last one, but once again lads, if you're struggling with any of these techniques, just refer to the other ones, okay? This will be our last round of drilling. Let's give this a bash. Beautiful. This time, Buffy's head and chest are going to...
Oh no, he's asking for the second one.
Second one? Okay.
He's like...
Okay, so the cross shoulder frame's good. What we're going to look to do here is threaten a forward shift so that you get to your elbow. Good. Now from here, the dilemma is, if she does not advance forward, it makes it so easy to recover the position of the bottom leg. Ice up, get to open guard, that's up to you. 99% of the time, she drags back in to hold you down, so we shoot an over back. This is really good, but
I didn't do that shit.
right, so this is good. What makes it great is the controlling of the two legs with the two hands. Okay? So that was good, mate. But let's tidy it up just a little bit.
Tempting and zesty.
So do the same thing, but when you get to your full inversion, control two legs with two hands.
Going here, so as she comes in.
Yep. Yep. Yes, mate. It doesn't seem like much, but this will significantly reduce her ability to impose any counter offense or even just flee the mat. Some of those techniques were a little bit difficult. The first one, pretty easy, okay? So we're just going to do a small review, each move in succession, and then we'll conclude the technical portion here, okay? So, once again, the first technique is all about opportunistically intercepting the drag as she enters the position. The only way that she stops getting taken up and over my left shoulder from here is to offer me limb extension at the lower body. And now from here we switch from pulling grips to pushing grips, and we do this with the intention of entering the leg like so. Second technique, I've kind of missed the mark on this. She gets to a stable headquarters and I've been unable to intercept the arm like so. So from here we play with a cross shoulder frame, and we play a dilemma based game between heisting up or returning to open guard and entering the legs. So once we get to this position and we bring the knee across, she has a choice. If she stays here, I can either pummel through back to open guard, I can even start the action of heisting up. She doesn't want this, so she offers me forward momentum, and it's from here that we come through and we enter into this cross-ashy position like so. And finally, she might take both off the table by coming through and bringing her head and shoulders well beyond mine. So now from here we don't exploit the front of the shoulder, but rather underneath the lat muscle like so. And because her weight is so far forward, it's a relatively easy thing to elevate, front pummel, and get to a classic false X position, subsequently leading to the cross ashy. Okay lads, if you get put in headquarters from here on out, it shouldn't be a position where you're playing with a disadvantage, but rather you've now got effective mechanisms to recover and get to, in this case, the lower body. Okay lads, let's take a minute, grab a drink, and I'll fire on the timer for rounds.